And there came out of the smoke locusts upon the earth, and unto them was given power, as the scorpions of the earth have power. And the shapes of the locusts were like unto horses prepared for battle, and on their heads were as if crowns of gold. And their faces were as the faces of men, and their hair as the hair of women, and their teeth as the teeth of lions. And they had breastplates, as it were breastplates of iron, and the sound of their wings was as the sound of chariots, of many horses running to battle. The Book of Revelations. When the court of the seven-headed serpent hunts on earth, a great pall of smoke precedes them, and lo, out of the smoke, the baying and buzzing of the pit locusts heralds man's doom. Some tales say they were sealed behind the filth-encrusted bronze gates for eons beyond measure, waiting until the key that opens the bottomless pit was turned in its lock. Others say they are the debased remnants of once proud angels, lesser Isham that debased themselves onto sacrificial altars to Baal or Moloch, and gorged themselves on the blood of children offered to the graven images. In their bloodlust they forgot the hidden knowledge of the universe that was their birthright. They haunted the deep and dark places of the earth, until they were called forth by the great battle horns of hell. What is known for sure is that when the gates opened, terrifying swarms of the pit locusts appeared. They delight in tormenting mankind, and are imbued with feral cunning and wicked bloodlust. In their first battles of the Great War, which saw the Levant overrun in a string of great victories, the pit locusts were instrumental in scattering the formations of the humans who refused to bend the knee to the nobles of hell. As a reward for their part in the battles, the pit locusts were granted the right to hunt with the court of the seven-headed serpent, and take their share of the spoils, and gorge themselves on the vanquished. So that's the lore Tuomas put out with the image, I guess, of the pit locust, and we know that we're now looking at the court of the seven-headed serpent. The pit locust itself, the description for that comes from the Book of Revelation, Revelation 9, I think, and the court of the seven-headed serpent is also related to Revelations. There's actually 3 seven-headed creatures in the Book of Revelations. There is a great red dragon. There's the leopard-like beast that comes out of the sea, of all places, which is kind of strange, which apparently had the feet of a bear and the mouth of a lion, and drawing his power and authority from the dragon. And then finally, a scarlet-coloured beast, which, unsurprisingly with the colour scarlet, on which sat the woman Babylon, mother of harlots and abominations of the earth, which is a pretty vicious description for really anyone. Within the construct of the Bible, the beasts represent enmity towards God. One of them, the dread dragon, is described as being at the war in heaven when Michael and his angels fought against the dragon, and the dragon fought and his angels in Revelation 52:7. So the dragon is Satan, pretty much. So this looks like it's very much directly related to Satan himself. And in the description and the lore, it says that the locusts were allowed to go with the court of the seven-headed serpent, which means they appear to have, during the war in the Levant, during those battles when the gates first opened, they appear to have risen in Satan's esteem, basically, and he has granted them the right to accompany his troops. That is how it appears to be at the moment, based off the little bits and bobs that I personally kind of remember and have researched since. So, pretty cool. The seven-headed serpent is a very prominent idea throughout religious history and mythology in general within Africa, Asia, Europe. Almost everywhere there's been some kind of a seven-headed serpent at some point within the Bible, you could argue that the heads are representative of perhaps the 7 deadly sins. I know there is a very specific mention in one of the books of Revelation, where is it that the 7 heads represent 7 consecutive powers through which Satan works on earth. And then the quote is, 5 are fallen and 1 is, and the other is not yet come. So the indicator there seems to be at least that like Satan is not operating at full power, that 5 of his means, I guess, of influencing the earth are nerfed, and 1 is good, and 1 hasn't been released yet. It's still in dev. So who knows what that actually means. But overall, very strong Revelations vibes in total from what we have seen so far. We've got the Pit Locusts, Rev 9, I want to say, and then the Court of the Seven-Headed Serpent itself. That's just all over the book of Revelations. So I've no idea how much more of this will draw from or take inspiration from the book of Revelations and things like that. But there's a lot of interesting stuff in there that they could technically go with. So we've been told the next reveal will be next week. I don't know if that means like 7 days from today or later next week or earlier next week. I have no idea. This is the 6th faction, which is very, very cool, and it looks cool and it sounds cool. Rules wise, we don't know much other than the fact that Tuomas has said, where's the quote from the Discord? A completely different concept from other warbands. Specific magic is the key differentiator. So these guys might be more casters than we're currently used to seeing. But we'll just have to wait and see what goes on and figure it out from there. So everything is looking really cool right now. We have our 6th faction. We're inching ever closer to the Kickstarter reveal, which is going to be very exciting. So we will just have to see what happens and go from there. So yeah, thanks for watching, folks. Let me know your thoughts on the faction, the name, the style of the Pit Locust, and any hopes you have for the mini, because we've seen some differentiation between the concept art for these things and the minis, much like the Death Commandos are a really good example, because there's things that need to be for a manufacturing process. So yeah, thoughts below.